Hi guys, 18dap here and welcome to the latest matchday preview for the channel. It's League 2 action, it's Crawley Town versus Doncaster Rovers. Let's get the video started. So guys, welcome to the latest matchday preview for the channel. Crawley Town versus Doncaster Rovers, Good Friday, under the lights, and it's a big one for probably more so for Crawley with their league position, but we will get into that in a little bit more detail as the video goes on. If you're an existing subscriber, thank you so much for supporting the channel and sticking with the channel. It is greatly appreciated, it means a lot to me. But if this video has brought you to the channel and you like this sort of content and you want to stick around, please consider clicking subscribe so you don't miss any future content. And if you are new, this is a format that we go through match previews. We look at previous meetings between the two clubs, current form across all competitions. I choose a Doncaster Rovers player to say a few words about, and then I choose the opponent's one to watch. So I pick a player out of Crawley's squad that I think could cause us problems tomorrow night. But as I always say, you know your club much better than I do, so if somebody else should be in the conversation at that point, get them in the comments down below. And then we finish the video with 3 predictions. The predicted team lineup thanks to FanHub. Me and the family have got a predictions league, so there's an update on that, and then the all-important score prediction to round the video off. So without further ado, let's get into previous meetings. Crawley and Donny only faced off a total of 9 times. Rovers coming out on top on 3 of those occasions. We've drawn 5 and we've only lost 1, so potentially a good omen for tomorrow night. And looking in more detail at our more recent 5, all in League 2, back to the 16-17 season where it was 2 draws, a 1-1 draw at home, a 0-0 draw away from home. And then in the 22-23 season in League 2, it was a 4-1 win at home and a 1-1 draw away. And then earlier this season it was a 2-0 win at home. So looking at that, away from home we struggle a little bit, only managed draws. There was a 5-0 victory the season before, the game before, so 6 games back. That would be very nice tomorrow night, but I can't see it. But yeah, it's a decent run of results for Donny in this head-to-head, so hopefully we can continue that tomorrow night and get a really positive result away from home. On to current form, it's tough to split Doncaster and Crawley because we have got identical form in our last 5, albeit in a different order. So 5 games ago we both lost, and then we've both drawn 1 since then, but Donny are on a 3-game winning run, whereas Crawley 1-2, drew 1 and then won last time out. So 2 informed teams at the moment coming head to head tomorrow night, so it should be an entertaining fixture. For Donny though, 3 wins on the bounce, as I've just mentioned, which is almost unheard of over the past couple of seasons. It's not been a great few seasons for us Donny fans, so for us to be 3 wins on the bounce, 4 unbeaten, yeah, it's a very weird feeling, and it's a nice one that I hope continues as long as possible. And it was a decent win last time out. Not pretty, but a job well done in my opinion against Forest Green, who disappointed me. Being down in the bottom 2, I thought there'd be a lot more fight, but they didn't really challenge our back line at all, and made it difficult for us to break them down, but we finally did, and ran out comfortable winners. But as I say, not the prettiest game of football I've watched. Form, it's been incredible since January, and as I mentioned, the top 2 teams over the last 10 come head to head tomorrow, so it should be a very entertaining League 2 fixture for a neutral. Donny, we've gained 21 points in 10 games, and that's 1 point ahead of Crawley, who've gained 20. Playoffs, gotta talk about it. I think it's slim to impossible to get into playoffs. The traffic between us and 7th is vast. There's a lot of teams between us, but we're only 10 points away. But it means every team slipping up and struggling, and draws here and there. So yeah, I can't see us getting playoffs, but stranger things have happened. I'll hold out hope for the fairy tale that could be playoffs this season, but I think it's very slim that we get there. But I think it's incredible that we're even talking about playoffs and only being 10 points away from playoffs when you look back at where we were when we went down to Sutton and managed that draw, staring down the barrel of relegation. And I think if we'd not got a point down there, it could be a very different conversation that we're having now. But let's not look back, let's look forward. It was a great result to fight back and get a point down there, and we've not looked back since. And I believe we're safe now, not mathematically, but I think there's a lot has to go wrong between now and the end of the season for us to go down. So yeah, it's about looking up having a good summer and potentially looking at going all the way next season if we don't make playoffs this season. On to Crawley. They're a team that have defied expectation, in my opinion. I heard a lot of fans tipping them for a tough season or even going down this season, and they currently sit 7th in the playoffs on goal difference, just ahead of Gillingham. Only 5 draws this season, so that shows to me that they go all out to win every game, and sometimes they fall short and lose. But yeah, struggle to get draws with only 5 all season. So I think this game will go one way or the other. Crawley will be a tough test as they sit second in the form table. I mentioned that the two top teams going head to head, and over their last 10, 6 wins, 2 draws, 2 defeats. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game tomorrow, and I think a win tomorrow will just help Crawley tighten their grip on the playoffs. So they'll be going all out for a victory tomorrow night. On to player profile. So for this one, I've gone with Owen Bailey for the Rovers. 25 years old, centre back, but tends to play kind of defensive midfield at the minute. We brought him in from Gateshead this summer, and for me, Owen's been one of my favourite players this season. He's been ever present, playing almost 50 games across the season, across all competitions, and just so versatile. He's played in 3 or 4 positions to cover injuries, and he's just so reliable. Always produces a solid performance, always a solid 7, if not higher, every single game. I think he's a great acquisition to the squad, and I think for me, he's one of the players that we've currently got in this crop of players that we should be looking at building a squad around in the summer. And I had the honour and the pleasure of speaking to his dad and granddad against Forest Green when we were in hospitality. Such genuine people, seemed to love the club. They had nothing but good words to say about it, and said that Owen's really enjoying his time as well. So yeah, great to have a chat with you guys and kind of say exactly what I've said here. One of the best players for me, player of the season. I'm not just saying that because I spoke to them. I genuinely believe that he has been one of our standout players this season. So hopefully he has as good a season next season as what he has this, and there's players around him that support him, and we have a really good positive season. But yeah, fantastic signing, and hopefully get to see him in a Rovers shirt for many more years to come. On to the opponents one to watch. So as I said at the start of the video, you know your club much better than I do. So if there's somebody else I should be talking about here, if I miss somebody out, get them in the comments down below, because I do like to learn about every other club that we play. But for this one, I've gone with the obvious. I've gone with Danilo Orsi. I've absolutely butchered his name, but I've gone with Orsi because he's Crawley's top scorer. It's his best goal contribution in a season across his career, with 16 goals and 3 assists, I believe it is. And he's just there. He's their target man, isn't he? He's scoring plenty of goals. There's a player behind him on 10 goals, so there's a couple there to look out for. The central midfielder with plenty of assists as well. So he's clearly getting into the positions to receive the passes, and he knows where the net is. And he's a big part of Crawley's success this season. Across his career, 200 appearances, 66 goals and 8 assists. But as I say, this one has probably been his best goal return season across his career. So I think if we cut him out, the centre midfielder as well, his name escapes me. There's a couple of players that are going to be tough to keep quiet on the night, and they're not up in the playoffs for no reason. They're a good team, and it's going to be a tough night. But for me, Danilo Orsi, really can't say Danilo. Him. Let's watch out for him tomorrow. On to the predicted team lineup. So for this, I use FanHub. If you've not downloaded the app yet, please go ahead and do so. Plenty of features to get your teeth stuck into, and you get rewarded for following your team. I use it mainly for the predicted team lineup though. So for this one, I've gone unchanged from the team that played Forest Green, I believe. Lotus Tyler in goal. The back four of Sterry, Anderson, Wood and Maxwell, which is looking fairly solid at the minute. It's not often that we keep a clean sheet, so it's been nice to keep a few of those. Midfield 3 of Bailey, Biggins and Craig, and Adelaide and Molyneux on the wings, with Joe Ironside up front on his own. Hopefully that is the 11 that's selected, and it's an 11 that can bring some points home tomorrow night. Onto the predictions league table. So if you're new to this, me and the family predict the scoreline for every single league game. If you get the Scoreline spot on, it's 3 points if we get the outcome of the game right, but not the scoreline, it's 1 point. Completely wrong, it's no points. And we all went with wins against Forest Green, so no change in the table, but everybody gains a point because nobody got the correct scoreline. So I'm top on 32 points, Chris in second on 21, Max in third on 20, and my dad fourth on 12 points. I think the trophy is coming home. And finally, the score prediction for this one. It's been a fantastic run. 1 defeat in 10, I believe it is. Yeah, a great run. But for me, all runs have got to come to an end at some point, and unfortunately I think tomorrow night may be the game where it comes to an end for Doncaster. Crawley looking strong. They've got a bit more of a reason to get the win, to kind of grab hold of that playoff place a little bit more. So I think they'll just have that little bit of an edge. I think that little bit will just be enough to see them come out 2-1 winners on the night. I hope I'm wrong, always do when I predict a defeat, but I've got to go with my head and not my heart. So 2-1 to Crawley tomorrow night, but feel free to prove me wrong. And that's where I'm going to leave this one. If you've enjoyed it, stick a big thumbs up on it, comment in the section down below, subscribe if you haven't already. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.